Different events in life cause different levels of stress. According to psychologists, the most stressful is the loss of a loved one, followed by divorce. This is hard to cope with for anyone, especially if they were faithful to their partner, but faced betrayal, deception, and dishonesty. That is why infidelity is one of the hottest and most relevant topics for discussion, along with other important aspects of human life. In this video, I will try to give advice on how to deal with infidelity and how the philosophy of Stoicism can help with that. A story from the life of the emperor. In the last years of Marcus Aurelius's life, one of his closest friends and best generals, Avidius Cassius, raised a rebellion in Syria. He heard that the emperor was seriously ill and might soon die, and hastened to declare himself the new ruler of Rome. Marcus Aurelius did not rush to act. He even hid from his soldiers the fact of the uprising, so as not to provoke their anger, and waited. Would Cassius change his mind? But when it became clear that Cassius did not give up, he finally gathered his warriors and ordered them to go against Cassius. In his heart, Marcus hoped that Cassius would stay alive, or not commit suicide, so that Marcus could show him compassion. In the end, Cassius fell by the hands of his own subordinates, who sent his severed head to Marcus Aurelius, but he turned away from it and ordered it to be buried. This story demonstrates Marcus Aurelius' stoic attitude to betrayal. He did not succumb to emotions, did not allow himself to hate his offender, and remained faithful to his values and character. What is infidelity? Infidelity is the violation of something common, something very valuable for a couple or a group of people. It is something that they share only with each other, and therefore it has a great additional significance for them. Sometimes this significance is fixed by an agreement, oral or written, official or unofficial. And sometimes it is not fixed because it is implied at the level of awareness of this significance. They keep this important significance pure, trying not to allow external interference from other people. In the case of relationships, for example, this significance belongs only to two people. When there are conflicts or quarrels in a couple, this significance stands even higher than the basis of these relationships, which cannot be touched. It can be a combination of emotional and physical forms of communication, from sighs and tender words to, of course, sex, where each one gives a part of themselves to the other and vice versa, creating something deeply common and intimate. When a person cheats, he shows indifference to his partner, polluting the common significance without warning, violating it. He commits dishonesty and, in essence, destroys friendship, business, or romantic relationships. He destroys the common past, trust, hopes for the future, the time spent as part of life. That is why betrayal is perceived very hard by the deceived person. The Stoic understanding of infidelity and traitors. The Stoics claim that there are people who are traitors by their nature. As Marcus Aurelius said in Meditations, to hope that a bad person will not harm others is like hoping that fig trees will not secrete milk, children will not cry, horses will not snort. The inevitable will not happen. What else can they do with such a nature? One must realize that a person with the nature of a traitor will betray anyone, including you. Such is his character. This person has certain flaws or delusions at the level of understanding life and existence. There is no possibility and no point in correcting this person if you try to prove something to him, tell him, teach him, and this is what you often want to do when you are betrayed. You want to explain how much it hurts, how wrong it is, why it is disgusting. We hope that this will teach the person something, but in vain. Such people may listen to words, but they do not react to them. The only thing that can save this person is an example that will touch him and make him look at the world differently. Why do I talk about saving such a person? Because he lives in the world of infidelity. His character of a traitor or a cheater makes him constantly prone to betrayal. It is not just a possibility, but an inevitability in his life. He not only cheats himself, but also suffers from infidelity from others. This spoils all his relationships, whether they are business or romantic. He will never be calm and confident. He will never achieve anything serious, not only because he will have a bad reputation, but also because he will not be consistent in his actions and his fate. Everything that fate gives him to make his life happy, successful, rich, he will miss or spoil it. This is not some karma retribution, or the like. These are simple psychological laws. A person can refuse something important, violate value, because infidelity is the ability to violate value, devalue it, to be carried away by more important passions, greed, lust, pride, and the like, to sell yourself cheap. This is what a traitor or a cheater needs to work on, to correct his path, but the person must come to this himself. How can Stoicism help to cope with infidelity? When you have been deceived, you should not try to prove anything to the offender. It is better to focus on what depends on you, and these are your virtues. They help you grow correctly in accordance with human nature. You are like a strong tree that can grow on any soil. Wild animals can gnaw at its bark, winds break its branches, worms eat its roots. All these obstacles also have their own nature, as do traitors. There are many traitors, and it would be surprising if you never encountered such people in your life. Betrayal is part of life, and a reasonable approach is not to hold anger and resentment towards them, but to simply avoid such people, stay away from them as much as possible. The second book of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations begins like this. At dawn, remind yourself, today I will meet a vain, ungrateful, insolent, cunning, envious, unsociable person. All this happened to him because of his ignorance of what is good and what is evil. I, on the other hand, saw the nature of the good, that it is magnificent, and the evil, that it is repulsive. I also saw the nature of the one who is lost, that he is close to me, not because of the same blood or the same kind, but because he participates in the same reason, the same divine part. I cannot suffer from any of these people, because no one's filth will stick to me. Traitors follow their distorted nature, but they cannot stop your growth. You can become a strong tree if you cultivate virtues, to develop your own, truly human nature. Remain in any situation a just, brave, restrained, and wise person. Show these virtues in case of infidelity, and do not associate with the traitor anymore. Refuse to judge and be angry, and then what the Stoics called amor fati will come true. When you love your fate, gratefully accept everything that God or Logos does in your life. Go straight. No traitors, winds, worms can knock you off it. They only make you stronger. Every broken branch or damaged roots distribute energy to new young branches, or roots. It is not in our power to change the nature of others. Perhaps they are needed for you to become stronger. And perhaps people with a distorted nature will gradually turn into normal people, looking at you. You will not change them with words, but you can change them with an example. Remember Socrates, when he was sentenced to death, he did not run away from prison. He said everything before that. People heard and understood. They saw his wisdom and virtue, but they were blinded. People choose to live in ignorance and fear. It is their choice. But then a strong example was created, which changed the life and consciousness of many. The opportunity to get out of this ignorance is available to everyone. When you have been betrayed, you may feel pain, anger, resentment, disappointment. These are natural human emotions that you should not suppress or ignore. But you can also try not to let them have power over you. We can choose how we will live after betrayal. The Stoics claimed that betrayal cannot harm us if we do not allow it to harm us. It cannot diminish our value, our virtue, our fate. It cannot deprive us of our dignity, our reason, our happiness. It cannot change our nature, our character, our path. The Stoics urged us to love our fate however it turned out. I urge you to go straight, despite all the obstacles. You can become stronger, thanks to all the difficulties. I want you to become the best version of yourself, despite all the infidelities. Remember that in the modern world we often face temptations that can undermine our loyalty and trust to our loved ones, friends, colleagues, homeland. We can be tempted by material goods, sexual pleasures, career prospects, social recognition. However, we must remember that all these things cannot give us true happiness if we lose what is really important: our values, our conscience, our soul. The Stoics taught that happiness does not depend on external circumstances, but on our inner state. When you face infidelity or betrayal, The main thing is not to let this poison into yourself. The biggest mistake will be that you decide to take revenge on people with infidelity or betrayal. Such behavior can distort our personality and start the processes of degradation. Regardless of how difficult our life or fate is, we must learn to be faithful and honest people. If you have reliable close or familiar people or partners, you need to respect their dignity, appreciate their love, support friendship, protect their interests. If we follow these principles, we will not become traitors or cheaters. We will become honest, fair, courageous, moderate, wise people. We will become happy people. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel, share the video with your loved ones, and also write your thoughts in the comments. I will be glad to know your opinion on this topic. Thank you for watching.